And now, ladies and gentlemen, your favorite way to learn about the latest gaming news, it's the SAMTIME News! And it's game time. Hello and welcome to the SAMTIME News. We get the latest and greatest news on video games. I'm your host Sam Tucker, aka SAMTIME. Let's get into some stories. Big news for you this week. Big news! What we got is a new console has been announced. It's not the Xbox 720, it's not the PlayStation 4, it's not the Wii Poo. It is, of course, the new console called the Ouya. Ouya. And it is developed, was headed by the old Julie Ehrman. Well, I don't mean to say that she's old. I mean, she's perfectly whatever. She is the former boss of IGN's downloadable content division, and she has teamed up with people, her good friends, such as Ed Fries, who was the Xbox. He worked on the original Xbox, and of course the one chop per child. That'd be nice. Don't mind chops. But the one laptop per child, Yves Beha, butchered that one. They've teamed together to make a really cheap, affordable, hackable console called the Ouya. It runs on Android, and the concept behind it is that you can play your games which you'd have on your touchscreen mobile phones or your big tablet devices. You can hook it up to the TV, and you can hook it up to high definition, and you can play it with an actual gamepad. So you can have a sit on the couch TV version of your mobile cheap indie games. And this is good for a few reasons. First one is that because development is so close on these big consoles, on the PlayStation 3, on the Xbox 360, on the Wii U and Wii and whatever, people, there's a big investment made if you have to develop for these consoles. And these consoles have a big sort of firewall roadblock. They control everything and what goes on their consoles. Because to develop for these consoles, you need a debug unit, which you have to be approved by Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo first to get one of these debug units, and you also have to be approved by them just to develop for them in the first place. Now, the thing with this Ouya box, is it's gonna be its own debug unit. Everyone will be a debug unit because you can hack into it and do all that without voiding the warranty, and it's totally easy to do. And they said they're even gonna release schematics on the device where people can really fiddle around with the hardware if they really want to get to the nitty gritty of it and hack their own things. It's got USB. I'm digressing. Anyway, back to the developer thing. So all these games which come out for these Nintendo, all these iPhones and tablets and Android things, they're all just cheap developer games. Anyone can make them. They download the software development kit from the publishers and they can release it to their app stores. Now, this box will have a similar premise because it runs on Android. It will have all those great, awesome Android games, and it'll run those games on that TV. But it will also be much better for people to make more console-related games. It'll be easier for them to get pushed out. So things which you'd see on the PSN and the Xbox Live Arcade will be probably going to this Ouya box, plus other ones where people don't have the money to afford one of these debug units for the consoles and all these crazy things like that. So it's going to open that right up, which is pretty cool. Now, the way that they're going to fund this is through Kickstarter, and that's how people found out about this. Kickstarter, they had to raise about $1 million to get this thing off the ground, i.e. kickstart it. But now they've raised over $4 million the last time I checked, so it's well underway, and they've promised now that they've made their limit on the money they have to make is that it's going to be released on March 13. So look forward to that next year. More stuff to do with this though. I'm going to keep reading. La 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 la. Don't run on the TV controller. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's got to just open it up because games cost $90 or something in Australia anyway, and that's if you get it cheap to run it on a console. But with this thing, you'll be able to play these better games, and they'll only cost like $2 or $3, which you get on this Ouya box. Ouya. I'll just read out some of the specs. The console Ouya. Now, I don't understand all these specs, and you probably won't either, but I'll leave them in the description, and smart people will know what it all means. Ouya console. It has a Tegra 3 quad-core ARM Cortex A9 Plus GPU. 1 GHz LPDDR2 RAM. That could be alright. 8 GB onboard flash. Now, that's the thing. It doesn't have a disk drive. It's all inbuilt memory, so you'll have to download these games. And I don't know if 8 GB is enough to store it. I suppose you could store all those little mobile app games. But then if you want to download more AAA sort of title games, which I don't know if will ever come out on this, then I don't know if that's going to be enough room. But then it has a USB port, and so hackable. You could probably just plug in a hard drive anyway. It doesn't matter. Oh my god. Another point I'll just say about this is that, I was talking about the 8 GB onboard flash. God, I'm terrible today. I just can't remember anything that I was going to talk about. Oh, that's it. When you're hacking things on this console, if you root it, and rooting, if you know what that means on a the technical device. It's not what you think I thought I insinuated before. It means that you're kind of hacking into it and you're kind of saying, look, I know what you're trying to do here, but let me get into this and let me do my own thing on this thing. Which is what you do with your iPhone if you jailbreak and you install all your crazy stuff. That's fine to do, won't void your warranty, but it will stop you having access to the Ouya store. So they say, oh yeah, most people are going to go the standard way and just have the standard box not rooted or hack into it at all, and they'll be able to play the Ouya store. But if you're going to hack into it, you're going to lose privileges to those Ouya store and all those cool made-for titles for the box. But then again, if you're going to be hacking into it anyway, you probably have other ideas, naughty ideas, piracy ideas. I'm on to you, I'm looking at you, you naughty Nelly. Anyway, on with the console specs. HDMI connection to the TV, which supports 1080p Full HD, yes. Wi-Fi 802.11 BGN, all the Wi-Fi networks, yada yada yada, wireless Wi-Fi, Bluetooth LE 4.0 for the controller and other sort of peripherals that you might make for the device. Enclosure opens with standard screws. They don't have those weird star screws, of course, because they have the normal screws, because I want you to hack into it. They want you to add things to the circuit board and all sorts of crazy things, because they're just like that, aren't they? And no disk drive, of course, which I mentioned earlier. So this, it sounds good, but what if it gets piracisated? Pirates are going to go nuts with this device, but I guess they're going to go nuts with any device, so who cares? It'll be a bit quicker with this one. Let's just quickly talk about the controller. Wireless controller with 2.4 gigahertz RF. That sounds like a lot of hertz. Standard game controls, 2 analog sticks, a D-pad, 8 action buttons, and a system button. 8 action buttons, I guess that means the 4 face buttons and 4 shoulder buttons, which is good. I originally thought it wouldn't have the shoulder buttons, but it turns out that it does. Touchscreen for porting mobile games more easily. Now, this is a great idea. This is much better than the Wii U giant tablet dukehead device. It has a touch thing on the controller, just a little one, where you could probably do like your Angry Birds, just boo, boo, and it'll port those mobile games so much easier, and it's a much better implementation, I think, of the touchness into such a device. 2 AA batteries, it will just take the normal battery, so you can't just plug it in and charge it, but I guess someone will develop some sort of hardware where you can do that, because it's so hackable, isn't it? Because it opens with standard screws anyway. OS and software runs on Android 4.0, I don't know if that's Jelly Sandwich, Monkey Mushrooms, or Apricot Delight, but probably the latest one. Custom TV UI, so custom user interface for the TV, and as I said, it'll have its own store, its own Ouya store where people can release their games. And the thing about this Ouya store, I just thought of another thing. God, I'm talking about so much. The store, it will have, every game will either be free to play or it will come as a demo for free, and then you can buy the game later. So you can try everything, or pretty much everything on the, everything will have a freeness about it, which is alright. Oh God, where am I going? Integrated custom game store. Oh, that's what I just said. Oh well. Includes SDK for game development. Software development kit is included, so you can make your own games easy as that. Boom, bada, boom. And ability to read the device without voiding the warranty, as I mentioned earlier. Eat it, Yoda! Eat it, I will, sometime. Yoda ate that. Of course, I released earlier this week, maybe a couple of days ago, an alternate intro to Game of Thrones. Play it! It's an acquired taste, maybe, but I love it. Check it out if you're a fan and like it. If you like it, spread the news, spread the word. And of course, big shout outs this week to Fly for All Guy, Johnny Conero, and Hutch Apple TV. Of course, thank you for subscribing. Tell your friends we need more subscribers. Grow this thing to the blah level, and it will be very delicious like that. Idiota again! Delicious sometime. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, and tomorrow I'm going to release a gameplay of me playing this freaky, scary boob game. Don't know why I said boob. Where you're it's just a horror game, scary horror. It looks a little bit like this. I never get scared. And I scream like this. Especially his face closed, earrings wide. Oh God! That's a manly scream right there. It's called Slender Man, and that'll come out tomorrow. Like if you like that when it comes out. Look forward to that, and I look forward to seeing you people next week's. Leave a comment if you like this, or if you want something commented in the next show, or improvements for the next show, or if you want Yoda to eat something else. And like if you like, and subscribe. That's it. Sam time. Signing off. Subscribe today.